am Jennifer Igwe. Welcome to our second edition of Newsline in the month of February, the month of love. Well, it's okay to term it so. After all, even St. Valentine's Day is celebrated in February. But as love hangs in the air, many tough life issues need to be addressed and followed up on as well. In today's lineup, there is an update on the family of 3 that was killed in Abuja. The latest development links a domestic staff to the horrific murder. The new angle to the whole story is indeed an eye-opener. Our reporter following the case will update us with details. Then death and interment are inevitable. Experts, however, are drawing our attention to health and environmental implications involved in burial locations. And I'm sure many of us would not really think in that direction. For more on this, stay on the line. Then a voyage at sea sounds interesting until you find yourself on an adventure that entails you navigating through the ocean with its wild waves. A correspondent's diary on a journalist's life at sea and naval experience is worth watching. And in the spirit of love, we will join lovebirds embarking on marital journeys, plus celebration of a renowned traditional institution in Minna, Niger State. We'll start first with the news segment. Elizabeth Omori in Abuja is on standby. Lizzie, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Jennifer, and thanks for joining us on the news segment. We begin with the Naira redesign. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company is working on printing all denominations of the Naira to meet transaction needs of Nigerians, with no plans to shut down banks. This is contrary to misleading report misquoting Governor Godwin Emefiele, attributing the current challenge in the distribution of the newly redesigned Naira notes to shortage of printing materials at the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company, as well as misleading voice notes on plans to shut down some banks. In a statement, the CBN appeals to the public to disregard the said report, as it is working assiduously to increase the circulation of the new notes in the country. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Governors Forum has resolved to employ every legitimate channel in bringing to an end the lingering hardship faced by Nigerians in current phase of the redesigned Naira notes regime initiated by the nation's apex bank. The forum says the direction of the monetary policy was clearly to pursue confiscation program, not currency exchange policy envisaged under Section 3 of the CBN Act. The communique laments that considering the sizable informal sector in the country's economy, if the situation is allowed to persist, the nation will run the risk of CBN-induced recession. The 36 governors appealed to federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria to heed to the interventions of Council of State and other stakeholders to eliminate avoidable queues around automated teller machines and banking halls. The firm agreed to direct states' attorneys general to view the suit at the Supreme Court with a view to consolidating the legal relief pursued by states. And the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu is urging the Central Bank of Nigeria to hear public outcry and heed the advice of the National Council of State on the need to take urgent measures towards ameliorating the suffering occasioned by the new Naira notes policy. In a statement, Tinubu raised a 6-point advice, which includes following advice of the Council of State. CBN should announce that the old and new Naira notes will coexist as legal tender for the next 12 months. Immediate suspension suspension of associated charges on online transactions, bank transfers and payments via POS until the current crisis is resolved. It says the CBN, National Orientation Agency, Ministry of Information, states and local governments with their relevant organs in both public and private sectors commence a major public enlightenment to further educate the people on the new notes. The APC presidential candidate states that he, his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima, and campaign council do not have anything against the CBN Naira redesign and cashless policy. In other news, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has assured Nigerians of federal government's commitment to value addition and enhancement of domestic product capacity in the crucial subsector and economic empowerment for national prosperity. Achari Maxwell reports that this was contained in the minister's message delivered by the Director General, NDE, Abubakar Nuhu, at NDE's special day at the Kaduna International Trade Fair.
NDE Pavilion is conspicuous, flooded with locally made materials produced by beneficiaries of the numerous NDE programs. Mariam Ibrahim, a cosmetologist, is diversified. So also is Hussein Muhammad, all the way from Kano, to explore business opportunities at this platform provided by Katsima.
I was trained more than, let's say, 5,000. I trained them from cosmetology to perfumery.
With ND, people could understand, others could see your products and be able to patronize you.
And there are at least 5 people under working in me.
NDE is not only participating, but also had a special event to interact with critical stakeholders.
We have received the support of the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, and we have received his backing, and we hope to do more. You have heard that within the shortest possible time, in fact, to be specific, within the last 2 years, the NDA has been able to create over 4 million jobs.
In NDE, we believe that promoting value addition in the crucial subsectors such as agriculture, mining, entrepreneurship, small and medium enterprises development, which is powered by skills acquisition training programs, are all indices for great economy.
In Kaduna, Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
More than 11,000 vulnerable households have benefited from the National Social Investment Program of the federal government, and Lagos State government is strategizing to ensure more vulnerable residents have access to the social security initiatives. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stated this at a one-day interactive forum with beneficiaries of the NSIP. Musa Tolia reports.
Residents came in groups based on the aspect of the National Social Investment Program they have benefited from. The gathering is aimed at appraising the level of transformation in their lives and create avenues for prospective beneficiaries to have access to the program.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, we appreciate your effort that you are making to uplift the people of Lagos State out of poverty.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stressed that the state will strengthen collaboration with the federal government, especially on the homegrown school feeding program, which has created opportunities in the chain of service providers, including farmers and caterers, to ensure steady supply of nutritional diet to school pupils.
This well-thought-out initiative exemplifies the inclusiveness and the pro-people policy of our party, the All Progressive Congress.
All of these aforementioned interventions should be domesticated and replicated at the state for proper inclusion of yet to benefit Lagosians.
Some of the beneficiaries shared their experiences on the social investment program.
We really benefit from this program, and this program has done a lot of good to our lives in Badagry as a whole. Some of these kids, because of this food, they want to come to school. So if this continues, it will help the children to come.
The National Social Investment Program is an initiative by the federal government through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The Professor Attahir Jega Committee to End Farmers Herders Conflict has met in Abuja to give an update on the committee's mandate. Francis Form reports that about 500 Nigerians, including researchers, government officials and traditional rulers, attended the meeting to develop a blueprint and come up with workable solutions.
We have been working assiduously to actualize the objectives of the National Conference and the mandate that was given to us to bring together a range of stakeholders for cross-fertilization of ideas with regards to how to reform the livestock sector in this country for significant value addition to the economy of Nigeria, and also how to ensure that such reforms are sustainable and they also promote social cohesion rather than conflicts.
Professor Jega is optimistic that the blueprint developed from the conference will be a game changer in addressing challenges in the livestock subsector. Away from conflict resolution, Minister of Defense Major General Bashir Magashi has charged batch 33 graduates of Nigerian Navy Basic Training School, ONE, to show commitment and professionalism in the discharge of their duties to their fatherland, especially as they would be deployed for the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Kingsley Amajiri tells us more.
1,562 of these ratings are joining the fleet of the Nigerian Navy after a 6-month training. From the attack and defense techniques, physical and armed combat, the ratings demonstrate their knowledge and competence towards resolving national security challenges. The Revenue Officer and Chief of Defense Staff, represented by the Chief of Air Staff, charged the ratings to be loyal, patriotic, and support constituted authorities.
In a few days from today, the 2023 general election will take place all over the nation, and some of you may be deployed to support as part of the military aid to civil authority. You must be professional and avoid acts that will bring the armed forces to dispute.
Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awa Gambo had earlier inaugurated the Commandant's residential quarters at the institution. From One, Rivers State, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
In the Ministry of State for Foreign Affairs, Zubairu Dada has assured the European Union that Nigeria's electoral body will conduct credible elections and protect Nigerians to exercise their civic responsibilities without fear. He was speaking during the 6th round of the Nigeria-European Union Human Rights Dialogue held in Abuja. Garba Natala reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has received needed resources from government and is ready to conduct what will undeniably be our very, very best elections ever.
That is the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs informing the European Union delegation in Nigeria on Nigeria's concluded plans to achieve a peaceful conduct of the forthcoming elections.
Our agencies are also working to ensure that people will be able to carry out their civic responsibility without any fear. They are ready to act swiftly and to protect life and property around the country during these elections.
Aside issues on the election, an engaging exchange featured on other issues that include migration, humanitarian aid in the Northeast, and asset recovery, among other concerns.
Nigeria requested that European countries should extend support to the FACTI panel report on IFF, that is illicit financial flows, and simplify evidentiary requirements and other mutual legal assistance as appropriate in order to facilitate international cooperation for timely recovery and return of recovered assets.
Head of the EU delegation in Nigeria, Samuela Isopi, noted that such meetings are important.
We're really confident that appropriate measures and solutions will be taken.
The human rights dialogue is poised to address and deepen areas of mutual concerns and interests of the two countries. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
It's time to take a break, and when we return, more political reports. To stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Back to political reports. Civil Society Coalition for Transparency and Good Governance says fundamental beliefs, philosophy of democracy, and the tenets of civil society engagements are working guidelines civil society groups in Nigeria need to adopt ahead of the general elections. Saliu Wanara reports that the group addressed the media in Abuja.
Down to the February 25th presidential election, innovative, informative, and promotion of good governance in Nigeria are what the group restated are the task of all in the project of building a lasting democracy.
Our focus at this point should be on how to help INEC disseminate accurate information to members of the public on issues relating voting and how best to participate in elections. Also, at this critical time, as civil society organizations, we should also be in the forefront of sensitizing the general public on the need of a peaceful elections.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress United Kingdom branch says distance will no longer be a barrier on raising to disenfranchise its members in the diaspora. Some members are already back home taking part in spreading the renewed hope messages to the prospective voters.
We have mobilized our members from all across the globe, and about 20,000 of them are coming to come and vote for our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
When you look back to his antecedent, you will realize that Asiwaju have done well for Nigeria.
So we encourage people coming back home by having a discount ticket. Also, which we have a lot of people back home already.
In Abuja, Saliu Wanara, NTA News.
With more than 7.6 million PVCs collected in Lagos ahead of the 2023 general elections, INEC says arrangements are in top gear to conduct free, fair and credible elections. Resident Electoral Commissioner, Lagos State, Olusegun Ajagbe, at an Stakeholders Forum urged political parties to refrain from acts that could undermine the electoral process. Joel Popola reports that configuration of the beavers is already on course.
Large stakeholders meeting convened by INEC is an opportunity to assess INEC preparation and take input from political parties, civil societies and international observers. Lagos State Resident Electoral Commissioner Olusegun Agbaje says the bimodal voter accreditation system is already being configured for the election, which will be conducted in 13,325 polling units across 245 wards in Lagos and remains the only means of accreditation. With 88% collection rate of PVC recorded in Lagos, INEC is expected to display voters' register within few days.
Our voters are advised to keep their PVCs safely. No other identification document will be accepted in place of the permanent voters card. And we are going to also ensure that no party agent stands behind the cubicle. because this is one of the areas where we have been talking about vote buying.
Political parties and civil society organizations agreed that INEC is on course in terms of preparation, but differed on the issue of movement of logistics on the day of election.
I think they have done wonderfully well, moving from where we are and moving from 70% to 88%. I think it's a pass mark to me.
Get neutral bodies that has no affiliation to any party. Individuals that have transports for logistics should be used.
There are so many areas that we want them to improve on, but they have to do it in conjunction with the security agencies.
An help desk with phone number 0814-541-9483 has been created in Lagos office to address enquiries and complaints before, during and after the elections. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The president of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, stormed his country home to flag off the All Progressives Congress zonal campaign rally to ensure victory of the party in the forthcoming general elections. Yunusa Sulaiman reports on the lawmaker's visit to his country home.
Joshua, the country home of the president of the Senate, was agog as the nation's chief lawmaker stormed the ancient town to flag off the zonal campaign rally for the 2023 general elections. Lawan was in the town for the first time since securing victory at the Supreme Court as APC standard bearer for Yobe North Senatorial District. The campaign rally was deliberately scheduled by the ruling party to kickstart from Zone C of the state to honor the number 3 citizen over his recent court victory. Amid cheers, Ahmed Lawan salutes the courage of his constituents for their solidarity and doggedness during the trying moment, something which he says translated into reclaiming their mandate that allows him to recontest again for the Red Chamber job. The legislator appeals to electorates in the zone to vote for APC from top to bottom for the provision of more dividends of democracy in the state. While at the palace of Emir of Bade for a homage, the president of the Senate alongside governors of Yobe and Gombe states assures the monarch to continue to provide quality legislative representation if elected. Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
The Emir of Gwandu, Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, has advised APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu not to be biased if elected the president of Nigeria. The Emir gave the advice when he received the presidential candidate at Abdullahi Fodio Palace, Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital. Abubakar Digi reports.
Of Gwandu, Muhammad Ilyas Bashar said being the president of a country like Nigeria does not permit religious and ethnic bias, and enjoined him to stay away from people who will not help his ambition.
Mohammed, that you have come here personally, coming all the way, going to the nooks and corners of this country to work up people's sentiment and support to vote for you. People that have reported to us, the very, very large crowd that have come to welcome you, it's been even difficult for you to move around. So sadly, you have the support of Kebbi State.
APC presidential candidate Ahmed Tinubu had earlier solicited the support of the Emir, promising to heed to his advice.
I can promote and do more businesses to promote Kebbi. That is what Nigeria should be doing. Forge unity, cohesion, and bring prosperity.
He was accompanied at the homage by Governor Bagudu, Minister of Justice Malami, and the top APC elder statesmen. The campaign train has since moved on. In Birnin Kebbi, Abubakar Gabadigi.
Meanwhile, the APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Hamid Binani, has urged Christians to always pray for unity and peace in society, as well as for a successful conduct of the 2023 general elections. She stated this at the National Annual Convention of the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria in Demsa local government area of Adamawa State. Afsatu Abdulhamid Dembos reports.
The annual National Convention of the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria, LCCN, with the theme Christ Our Hope, is a religious exercise of members of the church to refresh their spiritual being. The APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani, who identified with the president at the gathering, urged them to fervently pray for the nation as it prepares for another round of election. She particularly asked women at the convention not to relent in the task of promoting peace and unity in the society.
I need your prayers. Pray for me and the success of the forthcoming elections.
The Archbishop of LCCN, Musa Pantifilibus, pressed optimism that with dedication, prayers and thanksgiving, Nigeria will come out of its challenges. In Yola, Nafisa to Abdulhamid Dembos, NTA.
in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says the election of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on the 25th of this month by Nigerians will address environmental challenges and insecurity across the country. This was when the party's Presidential Campaign Council visited Umuahia, Abia State. Correspondent Onotu Yakubu reports.
It was the turn of Umuahia Township Stadium in Abia State to play host to the PDP presidential campaign team. First, the campaign observed a minute's silence to the repose of the souls of the former governorship candidate of the party, late Professor Eliezer Uche Ikone, and the campaign advance team ambushed between Yenagua and Asaba, where 3 lives were lost on Friday.
May the soul of these heroes rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar told supporters that he is on a mission to rescue, recover, and rebuild Nigeria.
Take this appeal to those who are not here today, that we PDP will be prepared to give Abia what Abians want. It is not an issue of ethnicity, it is not an issue of religion, but it is an issue of good governance.
The Igbos will also have a very meaningful position in the 6 positions that are distributable to the 6 zones. So you'll be having 2 at a time.
State and national party stalwarts told supporters that Atiku's proposed $10 billion to ease access to small and medium enterprises will rejuvenate and energize Aba as a global commercial hub.
Whatever commitment Atiku Abubakar gives you today, take it to the bank, because he's a man of his words.
Good days are here again. Made in Aba goods are coming back. It's going to tackle the issues of flooding at source.
National chairman of the party assured PDP members in Abia that internal squabbles within the party have been handled amicably, with a charge on them to go to the elections as one united family. From Umuahia, Abia State, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a Fulani Initiative for Peace and Orientation group, Miet Allah Walidira, has endorsed the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, for the February 25 presidential election. Timothy Yusuf reports that the group's endorsement took place in Abuja.
Gathered in their numbers from across the country for a One Agenda Summit, showing their support for Atiku Abubakar in his desire to become the next president of Nigeria.
We are united by God's grace. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will be sworn and will be announced and sworn in as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Serikin Fulani Nasarawa State and immediate past chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Wali Jibril, chaired this summit. The choice of endorsement of Atiku Abubakar as the next president of the country by the group, he says, is the right way to go. Dam Madanin Adamawa and former Director General of the National Boundary Commission, Dahir Bobo, representing the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, agreed no less.
100%, and add another 100, over 100% again. Atiku in everywhere in Nigeria today is the talk of the town.
He is a person that is probably that will give Nigeria the type of leadership that we all require to have peace, to live together.
Mieti Allah Walidira promised to deliver about 130 million of its members' votes for the PDP presidential candidate. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari congratulates one of the best operational brains in the nation's intelligence circle, Ambassador Hamid Rufai Abubakar, as he clocks 70. Said by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says Ambassador Rufai, who recently received the title of Saudon Katsina, has worked as an intelligence officer and a foreign service specialist for more than 3 decades, during which he served in the African Union and the United Nations, leaving behind enviable global records. President Buhari eulogizes him for providing deep insights into the threats faced by the country from within and outside as he states the country's strategic interests. He wishes him many more years of service to the nation. And next is Sports Update.
Matches played on Sunday ended in draws, with Sunshine Stars recording a 2-0 win over Niger Tornadoes in Group B. Lobby Stars beat Dakada 2-1. Rangers International were 1-0 winners against Doma United, with Abia Warriors and Wiki Tourist settling for a 1-0 draw. On the Group A log, Bendel Insurance and Yimba International and Remo are top 3, with Kwara United and Nasarawa United 9th and 10th respectively. Only 3 points separate Lobby Stars and Abia Warriors in the top 2 in Group B, with Bayelsa United, Wiki Tourist and Dakada being the bottom 3. Elsewhere on the continent, Nigeria's representatives in the CAF Confederation Cup, Rivers United, began their group campaign on a losing note as they were spanked 3-0 away to Diablo Noir in Brazzaville. In the Premier League, Manchester City closed the gap on Arsenal to 3 points as they recorded a 3-1 win over Aston Villa at the Etihad on Sunday. Manchester United fought hard to beat managerless Leeds United at the second time of asking this week as lead goals from Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho gave them a 2-0 win at Elland Road. With Sports Update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
In Sports Update with Bade Adeleye ends the news segment. Jennifer in Lagos has more reports for you, to stay with us.
Thank you, Lizzie. And now to Newsline proper. For all mortals, death is inevitable. The question is, where would you prefer to be buried when you die? At home or at a cemetery? What effects would this choice have on people who are left behind? Are there health implications involved? Rufai Animashao Badmos has answers.
I prefer to be buried in my residence because of, you see, these days, we had a lot of things through radio that the head was beheaded, they cut leg, they cut this and that. So
once I die, I don't have anywhere spectacular that they can bury me in. If my children might decide to bury me in the house, if they are contented with it, so be it. If they can decide to take me to the church cemetery and bury me there, if that's what they want, so be it.
If there is a public place to bury the dead, you can bury him there.
No, nothing wrong. He's the owner of the house, he's the owner of everything. So the family can decide maybe they should bury him, maybe a piece of land within the compound, or they take him to cemetery.
I can be buried anywhere. Let them bury me anywhere. That does not have anything to do with your soul.
Many Nigerians enjoy closely knit family ties and relationships, hence the desire to have their deceased family members very much within their vicinity. This perhaps explains the decision to bury the dead either within the household environment or inside the homes in some extreme cases. This is a common feature in southwest Nigeria, Ibadan inclusive. This is the family burial ground of G2 of Atenda area, Agodi, Ibadan, who died on 2nd June 1993. This practice is, however, said to create environmental and health hazards that can affect both present and future generations.
The decomposing bodies that are buried around residential areas, especially in areas where there is no central water supply that is chlorinated by government or water treatment plants, it makes it more likely that microorganisms or bacteria that we cannot see with our eyes can percolate through the soil and infect or contaminate those sources of water, especially boreholes and wells.
Studies conducted across the world indicate that cemetery groundwater contain evidence of contamination of organic products from the decay process of human remains.
The health officer needs to carry out certain treatments on the dead body before it can be buried. So, and that is the major thing, because as a result of that, that water can cause epidemic in the environment if there is a contamination of underground water or the pollution of the air, because we regarded a dead body as a waste and has to be properly managed.
See, there are some contagious diseases such as Lassa fever, Ebola virus disease, cholera. These disease conditions are very infectious, and the treatment of people who die from this condition and the way we handle their bodies is another thing that makes the burial of people around residential areas a source of concern.
Some residents are, however, of the opinion that the act of burying loved ones in family compound is archaic and no longer fashionable.
And since we have been here, I was born, I've been seeing burial grounds around the houses around, and I think we have never gotten any health hazard about them. We have some since 50s, 60s. Even I was born to have been witness all these things being around it. But after the millennium, the 2000, I think things have changed.
Medical experts, therefore, advocate that local government authority, who are constitutionally enshrined, provide suitable and pleasant environments solely for burial purposes, with policies and stiff penalties to discourage such practices.
I think burial ceremonies, they are very intimate occasions, but the important thing is to do it in a sustained, in a manner that won't be very harmful to those left behind. It's something we really need to think about and talk about. What I can tell you is a very touchy topic. Now to a murder that happened in Abuja, Ogun State. Do you remember the New Year Day tragic story of the gruesome murder of a couple and their only surviving son in Abuja? Well, the latest development in the story could be best described as dangers of domestic staff. Hakim Jimo has an update on the trending story.
The late 57-year-old Kehinde, his wife Bukola, and only surviving son Oreoluwa Fatinoye left home for crossover service on New Year Eve. They never envisaged that it would be their last night on earth. Tragedy struck when a gang of 3 suspects invaded their home in Ibara GRA housing estate in Abeokuta, Ogun State, in the early hours of Sunday, 1st January 2023, murdering the couple in cold blood.
Somebody came and woke everybody up on the streets, and we all came out. We stood here. The fire was much.
If my brother meets you for the first time, he can't call you name, whether you have to age or not.
They are full of respect. In the church, you cannot know if they are in the church. And they have touched a lot of life, not in the church alone, all over.
Newsline gathered that after killing the couple, the gang also allegedly tied the hands and legs of their only surviving son, Oreoluwa, as well as their adopted son, Felix, drove them in one of the family's cars to the bank of River Ogun and threw them into the river. While Felix was able to swim to the bank of the river, Oreoluwa was unlucky because he couldn't swim and died in the river. Ogun State Police Command swung into action and arrested 5 persons in connection with the crime, naming the family's driver, Lekon Adekombi, as the prime suspect. His mother and fiancé were also arrested for protecting and harboring him. Investigations by the command revealed that the suspect decided to wipe out the family after realizing that the sum of 1,102,000 naira transferred into the bank account of the prime suspect could be used to track him.
Waheed Adeniyi aka Kofi took a knife from their kitchen and slaughtered the husband, Kehinde Fatinoye. While Adekombi used a sledgehammer he purposely brought for the operation to hit the wife, Bukola Fatinoye, on the head, and she died.
The masterminder of the crime alleged that his boss refused to increase his salary and also failed to grant him loan facility.
We are paying me 25,000 naira, and the money is not enough for me to feed myself and my family.
It looks like a dream to me, because up till now, I can't believe that so you can do this one to our family.
Ogun State Police Command says the suspects will be prosecuted and charged to court.
It's very gruesome indeed. I mean, if your salary wasn't good for you, then you leave. Look for another job. I mean, opting for murder is really wicked, cruel, evil. I don't know how else to describe it. And I'm sure the law will deal with him. It's good the police have caught up with him. Very sad story. Now, a voyage at sea with its scarcely predictable elements is always a risky undertaking, much more for non-seafarers who, at the very least, must have a strong, adventurous mind to embark on such trips. Now, the ability to adapt, survive, and accomplish tasks is one of the attributes that journalists are known to share with the military. But does this also apply when on sea? Adeni Itaibu, who has been covering the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy, put that to the test to get a first-hand experience of sea exercises conducted by the Nigerian Navy.
Images of sea pirates painted with words came to life in Robert Stevenson's famous book, Treasure Island, offering a rich picture of the sea in its bluish splendor. It is a world in the deep, known only to seafarers and a scarce few. A sea trip for Exercise Obangame Express 2023, a maritime security platform for the protection of the Gulf of Guinea, offers a return ticket to the fringe of this world, an opportunity I didn't want to miss. NNS Kada, the most recent addition to the Nigerian Naval Fleet, is the flagship for the exercise, and that is where my cameraman Bayo and myself were boarded. Even before cast-off, my own first port of call was the cargo hold of the ship. Looming large, it is one of the unique features of the landing ship tank, which allows the Nigerian Navy to move large troops and equipment for missions. Out on the deck, the tugboat did their job, and our ship cast off from the harbor, its bow pointed to the blue horizon of the Gulf of Guinea, while the shore and beauty of Lagos receded into the distance until it faded from our view. From the cargo hold to the sparkling clean interior of the ship's cabin, the wardroom, and the crew lounge, the intricate design of NNS Kada is a beauty to behold. Safety on board is key, so I got this briefing.
In case of a fire outbreak, so men can quickly locate their life raft and stand by it before you get deployed.
My name is there, right? Where am I?
So your name is Ademi. So the life raft number is 1. Aweke.
From dawn to dusk, life here is regimented with time and, of course, piping sound for everything. I shared my cabin with Eugene Aga, a fellow journalist. Having been on the exercise a number of times, he knew the drill.
You are meant to operate in a terrain that is not static. You understand? You're wobbling legs, you are moving as if you are drunk, so it's quite different.
For someone like me, who hardly jokes with my stomach, I would say the food was good. It follows a strict serving schedule.
Between 11 and 1, they call it dinner, not lunch. Dinner is served. And by 4, 5, supper, not dinner this time around is served.
Well, opening steel and watertight doors of cabins and washrooms was not my favorite part of the trip. Same for the swaying and dizziness when the ship was tossed sideways by the tide of the sea. But all that newcomer effect was paid for by this awesome view of the marine from the bridge. Blue and stretching as far as the horizon, the sea, I came to learn, was rather kind to us. I have always been fascinated by ships, their sheer size and the physics behind their ability to stay afloat on water despite being made of metal. This is my first time of being on one, and it presents me with opportunity to ask questions and get answers. My quest for answers led me to the commanding officer of the ship, Navy Captain Reginald Adoki.
Every vessel floats because it must experience an upthrust, which is like an opposite force from under against the gravity of this weight of the ship. So once those two,
the weight against the up thrust. Once they are equal, the ship will float.
This is the bridge of the ship. It is the central command center for XSS Obangame Express. Here, the sight of young, talented and brave Nigerians on their watches day and night, plotting coordinates, monitoring the radar and coordinating serials for the exercise was a reassuring pointer to the bright future of the Nigerian Navy.
I derived joy when I leave the channel, come out to sea successfully and go back, achieve a mission, achieve a task.
The mandate of the exercise was clear: to promote synergy of navies at sea and raise the standard of combat readiness of ships company towards stamping out illegal activities in the nation's maritime domain. So, the guns booming, ships lining up in formations and special at dress rehearsals, it was time for me to get a feel of the action. While some of them were fun, others were downright scary. After 6 days and nights of endless drills at sea, I saw enough to appreciate the sacrifice and patriotism of the Nigerian Navy. Did you hear that? That is NNS Kada anthem, an emotional chord binding the ship's company to its nation and ship. Even without the coordinates, the sight of these fishermen's canoes can only mean one thing: we are on our homeward journey and close to shore. Any doubt about our destination was dispelled by this beautiful sight of Lagos that welcomed us ashore. Till another time, NNS Kada.
I can't wait for another time. Quite interesting. And adventure is more interesting when you're out of your comfort zone and you explore places you would ordinarily not imagine yourself being. So well done, Adeni. You will expect more from you and hope the adventure will be soon. Time to take a break. Newsline will continue shortly. Welcome back. Now, it was a fulfilling day for Lieutenant Fahad Bello as his family welcomed the arrival of his new bride, Anissa, into their midst at a colorful ceremony in Abuja witnessed by the Nigerian Armed Forces family. Ibrahim Dan Hamidu, who captured the celebration of love, reports that Nigeria's ambassador to the Republic of Benin represented the bride's father.
That prayer is what, in Islamic injunction, made Lieutenant Fahad Bello, the groom, and Anissa, the bride, to become husband and wife. They are now for each other till death do them part. Nigeria's ambassador to the Republic of Benin, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Burtei, represented father of the bride in giving out her hand in marriage to the groom in the presence of family, friends, relatives, and well-wishers who traveled from far and near to be part of the epoch-making event.
To keep us far from the reach of terror.
After the wedding fatih, then came the Arch of Sabers, a unique military wedding tradition. Apparently mindful of the huge task ahead for the couple, some of those in attendance showered them with prayers and words of wisdom.
She has gotten a very good foundation, a very good upbringing by the parents, and I'm sure we see her going into her matrimonial home well prepared.
When you see a woman and you say you love her, it's because you have found peace in her. If you see a man and you say you are falling in love with him, it's because you have found peace in him. You found protection in him. You found solace in him.
So I'm going to wish the couple a very blessed union. I pray that she maintains her house, maintains her home.
To both families of the bride and groom, witnessing them not tied was not enough to express how happy they are. Let appreciate the show of solidarity.
There can never be better joy than that of today. As a father, having seen your first child going out of your house, leaving your umbrella into another person's umbrella.
It takes everything. Love, patience, perseverance, dedication, and steadfastness. I am happy. And by the grace of God, she will be happy. She will not complain. She will have all the love and peace in this life. God will make them grow and prosper together.
Beyond that, we continue to pray for them so that they will continue to have a peaceful family life.
I'm very thankful to everybody here. I've been shown how much I'm loved and how special I am, and I'm so thankful that he has gotten such a very warm welcome.
On behalf of I and my madam, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that made it here and those that sent their prayers.
And to the two lovebirds, they danced the evening away with sweet melody of dandelions as they walk their destiny on both feet.
Bliss and blessings all the way. We wish them the very best. Now, in appreciation of their selfless services to the nation and humanity, two illustrious sons of Nupe extraction, Mohammed Mama Nami, the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and Seidu Musa Abdullahi, member representing Bida, Bako, Kacha federal constituencies, have been recognized and honored by their kinsmen. This was at a civic reception organized by the indigenous non-governmental organization Bida Forum. Fatima Aliu was there.
In Nigeria, encourage their adherents to love one another with genuine affection and take delight to honor those who deserve recognition among them. This was what informed the decision of members of Bida Forum to roll out drums to celebrate two of its illustrious ambassadors, Mohammed Mamanami, the executive chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Services, and member representing Bida Bako Kacha Federal Constituency at the National Assembly, Seidu Musa Abdullahi, who have indeed made them proud. Through what they described as qualitative leadership and their doggedness in attracting infrastructure development to the area and by providing employment opportunities for the youths in the community.
Somebody that has done something good, try to give him some appreciation, to encourage him when you go back to legislative arm. For the past 16 years, this is the first time we are seeing a representative that is truly representing the people of Bida, Bako, and Kacha local governments.
These good people will not come by chance. We have to collectively cultivate them, nourish them, nurture them, so that we can harvest.
Mohammed Nami, you have been able to bring to bear that innovative credit, tax credit by the NNPC, which will even give us a brand mina, Bida dualization.
One of the celebrants, Mohammed Nami, was represented by the Niger State Deputy Governor at the events.
This will serve as a kind of encouragement to others to do more, because they have added value to Nupe land, they have added value to people of Niger State.
I accepted it so that it will serve as an encouragement to what one is doing, and it will also serve as an inspiration to others. I thank them for recognizing me.
Mohammed Nami, an astute external auditor, now called the shots at the Federal Inland Revenue Services as the chief executive. While Seidu Musa Abdullahi, fondly called SMA by his people, took to politics after rising to the post of project manager at a construction firm and currently representing his people at the National Assembly. Since inception 28 years ago, Bida Forum has been in the forefront of promoting educational and socio-economic development of Nupe-speaking people in Niger State.
I'll just add, keep up the good work. Right now, we'll pay some bills. We'll be back. Welcome back. After a period of courtship followed by weeks of intense preparation, what began with a mere exchange of pleasantries between Abdallah Maman Ali and Aisha Bello has culminated in the beautiful beginning of a lifelong marriage journey. Abdul Malik Hassan tells us more.
Abdallah Maman Ali, in a joyous mood, as a new chapter begins in his life. Just before the moment of pleasantries, A sojourn took place between Abdullah and Aisha Bello shortly after the Jumat prayer at the An-Nur Mosque in Abuja. Governor Mai Malabuni of Yobe State represented the groom here, and a bride price of 200,000 naira presented to consummate the marriage. Well satisfied, the bride's representative, offering as culture demands, prayers offered for a smooth and prosperous marital journey.
Them all the best. I'm wishing them a lot of success, happiness in their marriage, and beautiful children, and all the blessings that come with weddings, inshallah.
He's an amazing person, and I wish him nothing but happiness, nothing but abundance in his new marriage that he's about to enter.
Now, a huge task is set for the newly wedded, and one can only wish the best for them.
We sure wish them the best and a successful marriage. The 7th substantive emir of Kontagora, Muhammad Barau Muazu, has been presented staff of office amidst pomp and ceremony with an appeal for a united front to stimulate growth and development of the emirate. Hussein Musa reports that the coronation was presided over by Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello and witnessed by traditional leaders, including the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, and the Esunupe Chairman, Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Yahaya Abubakar, and other royalties.
All roads leads to Kontagora as the 7th Sarkin Sudan, Muhammad Barau Muazu, receives staff of office amidst pomp and pageantry.
I keep faith in Allah to give me the wisdom to rule my people based on fairness, equity, and justice. It is also imperative that people should extend love to one another.
Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who took time off to commend the kingmakers for upholding the integrity and legitimacy of the traditional institution, expressed optimism that the new leadership of the emirate will propel it to peaceful coexistence and socio-economic development.
We believe this is another opportunity for the traditional rulers to uphold the confidence of the people and consolidate on the gains of your forebears by ensuring the continued peace, stability, and progress of our nation.
Leadership comes with responsibilities, which is why you must seek guidance from Allah in order to live with fairness.
To love his people deep in his heart and to look forward to how they can progress.
The 7th Sarkin Sudan of Kontagora, Muhammad Barau Muazu, succeeded the late Emir Saidu Namaskar, who died on the 7th of September 2021.
Upholding cultural heritage, may your reign be great. Now, family members, friends, colleagues, and well-wishers of Mohammed Al-Hassan Sadiq gathered at the Usman ibn Fodio Jumat Mosque in Bauchi for the wedding fatia of his daughter, Barrister Sadiga, and her heartthrob, Flying Officer Abubakar Mukhtar Ahmed. Muazu hasn't captured the occasion for Newsline.
With this now, Sadiqa and Flying Officer Abubakar have become husband and wife. Imam of Usman bin Fodio Jumat Mosque, Malam Ibrahim Abdullahi officiated the wedding Fatiha after fulfillment of all marriage contracts laid down by Islam, including payment of 100,000 naira as bride price.
I feel extremely happy and I give glory to Almighty Allah.
And I'm very, very happy for having such a wonderful day.
Parents, grandparents, friends and relatives of the couple rejoiced with them in a colorful reception and sword crossing.
Very much sure the kind of training that I have given to him, and it will make both of them to live comfort, or I can simply say to live by example.
For somebody was all the way to come and look for a wife in Bauchi, a native of Yobe State, brought up in Kano, and an officer in the Nigerian forces, and to come and pick my granddaughter. I think I should be grateful to Almighty Allah.
And the NTA family, to wish the couples well.
The groom flying officer Abubakar Mukhtar Ahmad and the bride barrister Sadiqa Muhammad Sadiq could not hide their joy.
An extraordinary day for me in my life, and I will never forget to remember this day. I'm very happy, and I extend my gratitude to Almighty Allah that allowed me to witness this day.
Well, we met on social media. I didn't even think it was going to go far, but Alhamdulillah, here we are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has finally showed me this day that I'll be married to someone I love so much.
Sadiqa is a very good person. She's one of my best friends. I pray that as today she witnessed her wedding day, she's going to be with her husband in the end of their lives.
Very colorful event, and the positive part and aspect of social media. Time for our last break. Newsline continues shortly. Thanks for staying on the line. Now let me ask this question. Would you allow your spouse teach you how to drive? How easy or stressful can it be for one's partner to teach one how to drive? I know that question arouses something inside of you, and you're wondering, okay, will it be easy? Well, this report by Oyeyemi Ajayi talks more about it with an investigation at a driving school.
Scenario, we were driving in the village and it was like, okay, go this way, go, and I was trying to press the third brake, and there was a bike man in front of me. He now said, instead of him to say press the throttle, he said press the brake. He said press throttle, press throttle. I was pressing, but I was seeing myself going to hit the bike man.
A discussion on how they both learned how to drive. This is Tessie, and here is Deborah. They were both taught how to drive by their husbands, but with contrasting experiences.
While I was trying, I was hungry. So you want me to do it, I will do it. So in the picture, I just hit a brick, you know, about four, 5 layers of blocks behind that, and he was angry. He said, I said, well, you asked me to reverse. That's not what you're going to do. Come and take this car from this pit. I don't know how to go about it. I just I dropped the key, took my bag, and left for the house.
The debate on whether one spouse can teach one driving has been around for a while. Many believe the instructor must have the basic exposure and experience to do so in order to pass proper knowledge, while some are of the view that going to driving school should be non-negotiable for proper tutoring.
Why sending them to school when I'm the teacher?
when I'm teaching others. It's needless, so I have to do the job.
My husband could not even teach me. I went to driving school.
Because some of these hidden details we sometimes forget to implement, but the driving school will keep to that standard.
So no matter how I teach her, she must enroll in driving school. So they have basic things they need to teach you to put you through on the driving school. That's it.
One thing remains sacrosanct, and it is the fact that accredited driving schools only can give certificates to those qualified, and this is a basic prerequisite for driver's license. The rigor or comfort of being taught how to drive by a spouse can best be explained by the driver as well as the learner. But can I tell you something? And I hope you keep that a secret between us. All right, come closer. I was actually taught how to drive by my wife, but don't ask me how the experience was. Be that as it may, I decided to visit one of the accredited driving schools in the FCT. I acted as if I came to register just to know what is obtainable, but there seemed to be another twist based on my observation. Though training equipment evident as I approached a man believed to be the manager. He told me that all those seated are only waiting for capturing, as none of them went through any formal driving training. He is even willing to help me out to get my driver's license without appearing before any other agency for test. This seems to be a booming business amongst the driving schools, as it has become a window allowed by those who even offer formal driving lessons. I asked myself, is the Federal Road Safety Corps aware of this development? If yes, what measures have they put in place to quell it? Also, what are the criteria for accreditation of driving schools?
You have to be physically present. If you present a passport, the software will detect it, that the physical person is not there. So we have installed that software and it's working right now. So you must attend the driving school. That is one of the measures, apart from other measures that we do of inspection, that is surprise check at the driving schools.
Experts have revealed that most accidents that occur on the roads are quite avoidable, pointing to those without knowledge of the road codes. And this is why the Corps is sending out task force to monitor the activities of these driving schools. But what more can be done to regulate the activities of these driving schools?
We withdraw their certificate and we delete them from being accredited at the driving school.
And how far will the measure by the FRC go in stemming the tides of road crashes in the country? Only time will tell.
Interestingly, many drivers did not go near the gate of a driving school. And most times when you talk to people about going to driving school, they'll tell you, oh, my brother will teach me, my friend will teach me, my husband, my wife. But the best place to learn how to drive, accredited driving school. You've heard it from the experts. So on that note, we end Newsline today. Know that being safe is key, and we all have to imbibe that. And don't forget that the fastest and easiest way to becoming a star is to connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Thank you for being with us all through, and keep a date with us Sunday next week. Good night, and God bless Nigeria.